Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning into today's video. We have more gaming and PlayStation news, rumours and leaks to go over. A huge shout out to the God of War and Uncharted channel members. Thank you ever so much for your support. And if you're new here to the channel, consider subscribing and becoming a channel member and get yourself some exclusive member perks. So recently, a set of US tariffs introduced during the Trump administration has come back to haunt the gaming world, especially the Japanese gaming companies. These tariffs, initially aimed at reshaping trade balances, are now taking a heavy toll on Japan's gaming giants, and the markets are definitely feeling it. Sony, a key player not just in the gaming sector but across multiple entertainment sectors, they saw a massive 10% drop in its market value in just one day. That kind of loss is significant. It represents billions wiped off the company's value in mere hours, and they're not alone. Nintendo, the legendary company behind franchises like Mario, Zelda and Pokemon, also took a serious hit, with their shares falling nearly 8%. And this comes at a critical time for Nintendo. They've been preparing for the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2. Pre-orders were expected to go live on November the 9th, but due to the added uncertainty of these tariffs, the rollout has been delayed in the US. Naturally, fans are worried. If the tariffs remain in place, the Switch 2 and its accessories might end up costing significantly more, which could hurt its overall sales and market reception in the US. And it's not just Sony and Nintendo feeling the sting. Across the board, Japanese gaming companies are facing the heat. Koei Tecmo, best known for games like Dynasty Warriors and Ninja Gaiden, dropped by 7.6%. Bandai Namco, home to massive franchises like the Dark Souls series, Dragon Ball and Tekken, and also Ace Combat, they fell by 7.3%. Sega, the legendary publisher behind Sonic the Hedgehog, Like a Dragon, formerly Izuku, and the Total War series also saw a drop of 7.2%. Capcom, behind the mega hits like Resident Evil, Monster Hunter and Street Fighter, slipped by 6.6%. Square Enix, responsible for the iconic RPGs such as Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest and Kingdom Hearts, also lost 5.6%. And finally, Konami, best known for Metal Gear Solid, Silent Hill, they dropped by 5.1%. Konami's decline might seem smaller compared to the others, but keep in mind that Konami have been transitioning away from traditional gaming for a long time. That said, they've recently started to revive some of their classic franchises, so they're very much back in the mix now. So why have the Japanese companies been hit first? Well, it all comes down to the time zones and the trading hours. Because the Japanese markets open earlier than their Western counterparts, we're all seeing the first reactions play out over in Japan. And if this is any indication as to what's to come, the Western gaming companies might be in for a tough ride too. These losses also reflect the broader issues across the gaming industry, with development budgets that are now skyrocketing and growth in some areas completely slowing down. Combine that with unpredictable government policy and rising manufacturing costs, and it creates a pressure cooker environment for both developers and publishers. And who's going to suffer? We, the gamers. Tough times for everyone across multiple industries. So let's see how this plays out over the next few days, especially in the gaming sector. God knows how long this is going to go on for. Let me know in the comments down below if you've been impacted directly by the trade tariffs, and let's move on. So this was announced back in 2021 along with Spider-Man 2, and Wolverine instantly had people hyped. But since then, the updates have been few and far between. That silence has started to make some fans a little bit restless, and in a few cases downright hostile. And recently a fan took to X and accused Insomniac of ignoring players eager for updates on Wolverine, sarcastically ending the message with "such a great team" in inverted commas. It's the kind of passive-aggressive post that can rub people up the wrong way, and it seems like even Insomniac has had enough of this. In a rare move, Insomniac's social media team responded directly saying, "We're actively working on Marvel's Wolverine for PS5. We'll share news about the game when we're ready to share it." That will always be our answer. We can't act on everything requested when things take time, resources, and the green light to share them. That response is a mix of transparency and boundary setting, and honestly, it is refreshing to see. The game development is long. It's a complex process. Rushing developers, especially through public pressure, rarely ends well. And let's not forget, Insomniac is still recovering from a massive ransomware attack that hit them in late 2023. A significant portion of Wolverine's early development footage was leaked online due to the hack, while the studio said that the breach didn't actually affect their development timeline or plans. The emotional and operational toll of such an event cannot be ignored. Despite the silence, Wolverine is still in the works. In January 2025, Chad Dezen, one of the new co-heads of Insomniac following the departure of longtime president Ted Price, said that the team is moving forward with a really ambitious roadmap. That roadmap includes Wolverine and likely other big projects. It's important to remember that game development, especially for big story-driven titles like Wolverine, often takes several years. And just because a game was announced doesn't mean it's close to release. And Insomniac has been clear from the very start that they'll reveal more when the time is right. And I hope that is soon. I'm happy for Insomniac to take as much time as they need to cook and get the game right to that excellent level and standards that they have set. And I hope Sony is laying on a PlayStation showcase this May to showcase the games that they plan on releasing over the next couple of years or so, because Wolverine will definitely be in that mix. Anyway, let's move on. Rainbow Six has been Ubisoft's flagship tactical shooter for nearly a decade now, and is still going strong with regular updates and a solid player base. But according to a new report from Tom Henderson over at Insider Gaming, a guy known for being pretty accurate when it comes to industry leaks, Ubisoft is planning something very different for the franchise. Instead of another multiplayer shooter, Ubisoft is reportedly developing a turn-based tactical Rainbow Six spin-off similar in the style to Xcom. Now that's a big departure from the real-time action we're used to with Rainbow Six Siege, but it could also open up a whole new audience to the franchise. This new project is still in early development and could be at least a year or two away from release. But what we know so far is pretty interesting. The game is said to take place in the same universe as Siege, and players will be able to use familiar operators, each with their own unique abilities to complete missions. Unlike Rainbow Six Siege, which is all about online competitive play, this spin-off is being designed as a single-player or co-op experience. Reports suggest it could offer a 30-hour campaign complete with cinematic cutscenes to flesh out the story and characters. The idea here seems to be that Ubisoft wants to expand the Rainbow Six universe beyond just competitive multiplayer. They're likely hoping to do for Rainbow Six what games like Xcom and Gears Tactics did for their own franchises. That is to offer a fresh experience without losing the core themes of strategy, teamwork, and tactical decision making. So is this a smart move? That's up for debate. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments, and let's move on to a classic, Deus Ex, one of the most respected names in immersive sim RPGs. It's a franchise that's always been praised for its deep storytelling, cyberpunk aesthetic, and flexible gameplay that lets players approach problems in multiple ways. But in recent years, the series has been pretty much on ice. Having said that, Eidos Montreal, the studio behind the more recent Deus Ex titles, hasn't given up. In fact, they've been actively pitching new Deus Ex projects to potential publishers. Unfortunately, as things stand, it sounds like the response has been lukewarm at best. No one's bitten on the projects that have been presented by the studio. One of the big hurdles seems to be that some publishers now view Deus Ex as too niche, meaning that they're not convinced there's a large enough audience to justify the costs of making a new game. Others are concerned about the financial risks involved, especially in today's gaming climate where budgets are ballooning and competition is fierce. To make matters worse, Eidos Montreal has been hit with multiple rounds of layoffs, including another 75 employees just recently in March of this year, following 97 job cuts back in 2024, the same time that a previously planned Deus Ex title was reportedly cancelled. Even with all that, the passion inside the studio for the franchise clearly hasn't faded. One source suggested that the latest concept that they pitched had charm and novelty, but that didn't quite meet the high expectations typically tied to the Deus Ex name. That might mean the idea was good, but maybe not bold or polished enough to convince decision makers to take that risk. Still, it's a glimmer of hope for fans hoping for a new Deus Ex. The team wants to bring Deus Ex back. The only question is whether someone out there will give them the green light to move forward. In the meantime, the series continues to sit in that frustrating limbo between demand and business reality. So let's move on. Last week we saw Marathon and PlayStation sync their marketing, indicating something was about to happen very soon. If you've been following their social media posts, you've probably seen some neon green teasers popping up all over the social media. That's because the Marathon gameplay reveal is officially scheduled for April the 12th at 10 AM Pacific, 1 PM Eastern, and 6 PM UK time. So we will finally get to see what Marathon is all about. We hopefully are going to be getting some gameplay as well from Marathon. The original game, the original Marathon game, was released way back in 1994 for the Apple Macintosh. It was a sci-fi shooter set aboard a colony ship under alien attack, and it laid a lot of the groundwork and foundation for what eventually became the Halo series. Fast forward now, and Bungie is reimagining Marathon as a futuristic PvP extraction shooter game, kind of like a high-stakes multiplayer survival game. This new version is being developed for PS5, Xbox, and PC, and it looks like Bungie is really leaning into building a connected online world that mixes fast-paced action with deeper lore, something that they've had a lot of experience with from their time working on Destiny. Leading up to this announcement, Bungie ran an ARG. That's an alternate reality game across social media. Players piece together clues from various emergency reports, neon-themed videos, and other cryptic posts, eventually discovering a save-the-date tease trailer for the big reveal. And apparently, some media outlets have already seen and played early versions of Marathon during closed preview events. That suggests that Bungie is further along than some people have expected in their development of this game. And if that's true, we could be looking at a potential release window later this year. So whether you're a long-time Bungie fan or just looking for a new multiplayer experience, Marathon is definitely one to keep an eye on. So let me know if you're looking forward to this game. For me personally, I'm not into live service games, so this really isn't doing anything for me. For me, it's more about curiosity than anything else. I just want to know what the game looks like. I mean, I will say, if Marathon looks really good, I mean really good, I may give it a bash, but it's going to have to be pretty amazing for me to jump into a live service game. But I'll reserve judgment until I see the game being played out for myself. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.